one thing I wanted to at least put out here and let the world see is what I got to see when I was, I think, man, what had to be at least 5 years old when you picked that up, right?
Yeah, I got it used. Your mom bought it for me and gave it to me for Christmas. And then the guy that owned it before me, I knew the guy, and I don't know how much he used it, but it was in real good shape when I got it. Still in good shape. It's a good running saw, one of the best.
So earliest memories, I remember when you got it, I couldn't pick it up. It was too heavy for me to pick up. And then I just remember those days, you know, in the winters in New Mexico, trying to keep the place warm. Easiest way to do that, going up in the Zunies and cutting wood.
Yep.
And really, really good memories sitting in the passenger seat in that old yellow Ford you had, following up Grandpa with his white Camper Special Ford. To me, it was the coolest thing in the world to watch you guys, just two men I looked up to, and the easiest way to describe that is 10 foot tall and bulletproof. You guys open up your tailgates and it almost just at the same time, you know, drug your saws out, started prepping them up, fueling them up, oiling them up, walk around figuring out where you want to start cutting and start dropping trees or cutting up stuff that was already laying down. And the one thing that I wanted to do more than anything was help. It's never been rebuilt. It's only been serviced.
That's original. That's the original
Never
motor.
been serviced. And so, I mean, for me, my experience with it is over 40 years. I'm
Right.
46 years old. So
Right.
it's been right around 40, actually probably about 41 years that I know that that's been in our possession.
Right.
I don't know exactly how old it is, possibly 50, 55 years old, who knows?
Yeah, this thing is, it was probably built in the late 60s probably. That's steel for you. They don't give up.
Another cool memory for me was watching you cutting, and then it wasn't long and Grandpa's having problems. You hear the sputtering or whatever, he'd walk back to his tailgate, start working on his saw. And I loved his saw for some reason more than yours because his was green and the one that we had was green. The little toy was green. It wasn't, hell, you guys weren't into about quarter way into the cut, and that thing got problems, and Grandpa's throw it into the woods, and that was it.
Yeah, he yanked on it till I think his arm was about to give out, and he banged it on a log, and finally he threw that son of a gun. He'd had enough.
Yep, and so he cursed that saw, and then you start to learn. You start to learn about reliability.
Yep.
You start to learn that when you've got something that's going to operate, no matter what happens, it started to work on my young mind.
Yep.
And then there come a point in my life where I just decided that I was going to dress a certain way, act a certain way, and I have the only logos that go on me is the ones that I have ownership in, or this one right here we got on our heads.
Right.
And the reason that goes on my head is that I saw as a kid how what I thought was the most powerful, most elegant, the coolest hand tool ever created was that saw right there. But also, as you showed me growing up how dangerous it was,
Right.
it's also the most dangerous.
Yeah,
if you
very.
hold it for a second, misuse it. It doesn't have the safety features of some of those back there.
Right.
That sumbitch right there, you use it wrong for a split second, it not only will it hurt you, that sucker can kill you.
Yeah.
So the reason I wear the patch on my head is it reminds me that what I put it on top of is the most elegant, the most useful, most powerful tool ever created, which is a human mind. But also the most dangerous. You misuse it for a second. It's not just destructive to me, it's destructive to everybody around me.
Yeah.
I don't care if I'm going to go, if I'm sitting in the boardroom at my company, if I'm going into wherever, any type of business meeting. I spent the last 3 days of this week sitting in the room with several $1 billion worth of people being represented there, and this is what I wore because it reminded me. When I put my hat on every morning, I got to get my head right.
Right.
I got to point myself in the right direction. I got to stay that direction.
Right.
And the second I lose any sort of reliability, that's when I've lost my value to the world.
Right.
Well, if anything, that inspired me not only to wear this, think this, but put the book together,
Yeah.
put you on the cover, tell that story so the whole world knows there's a couple of some bitches still running.
Well, that one definitely has been a good one, I tell you.
One thing about it, if we ever have a problem with a tree, we got plenty of saws now.
Yeah. I think we can handle that.
All right, well, you weren't, if you haven't gotten figured out yet, but that's our steel story.
Yeah.